How we doing, YouTube? Welcome back to the Nightmare Cabin. Another album review to do, and yeah, controversial this one. This is The Unknown by Evile. Yeah, where do we start, really? This one's certainly dividing opinion. On one end, you've got the band have sold out. This is shit. This is the worst thing they've ever done. And then on another end, you've got this is an absolute masterpiece. And I'm somewhere in the middle. Everyone calm down is my reaction to that. Yeah, let's get into it. The first I'm even happy to even have an album from Evile, to be frank. It looked like the band had more or less finished for a while. Everyone seems to forget that. And then Old came back and we had Hell Unleashed, which was a great album. A shredder. And if new subscribers to the channel, you might want to go back. I did a pretty in-depth interview with Ben Carter, actually. And I'll put that in the description at the bottom of this, because I think that video deserves more views, actually, because I did go get into the nitty-gritty with him, and we went in depth with the band's back catalogue. Yeah, I'm quite proud of that one, actually. But yeah, so yeah, I thought the band were just going to plod along, and that was that, really. So to get a second album out of the it was sort of a reunion, a relaunch. Yeah, I'm at that stage with the band, really. So at first we got the video for the title track and opening song, The Unknown, and I thought, yeah, this is different. This is cool. And I thought, yeah, they've probably put something a bit different out to, and then we had a lyric video follow it up, which was a thrasher. Was that beginning of the end, or was it Reap What You Sow? I think it was Reap What You Sow. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Reap What You Sow. And that was pretty standard thrash. Evile doing Evile, and it was like, yeah, okay, all good. And then we got a video just before the release of when Mortal Coil shed, and I was then taken back, going, wow, like, they're moving on here. It looks like they're expanding their sound. And I was thinking, yeah, you probably get The Unknown when Mortal Coil shed, and then the rest of it would just be a thrash fest. But I shared it to a couple of mates that weren't really into the band, just to see what they went. And they were like, oh, wow, this is different. Wasn't expecting this. And they, one of my mates went, oh, have they moved on from thrash? And I was like, well, I wouldn't go that far. But people kind of forget as well. I think Evile's image, when you just look at the band, like a photo, the tight jeans, big trainers, whatever, create a shirt, Metallica shirt, whatever. And they came out around the time you had like this sort of thrash revival with like Municipal Waste and bands like that. There was a bit of a thrash revival, weren't there, around that time? And there was that whole pizza thrash thing. And I think people kind of forget how deep the band's catalogue went. They started out as a Metallica tribute band and started writing their own material. Enter the Grave was kind of like a classic recipe thrash. I've had a shower before I started recording this, and I ain't put anything in my hair, and it's looking really. Oh, you should have to part with it, I'm afraid. Yeah, it's gone proper fuzzy. But yeah, like on the second album, Affected Nations, they went bloody deep on that album. It was all technical and kind of epic sounding. They kind of went for the And Justice for All route. And for people saying that this was a sellout album, I mean, I forget what it's called now, Serpent's Teeth. They were going for like big choruses on that one. They were touring with Megadeth. They were touring America. And I think they were trying, if you want to start accusing anyone of being a sellout, you could probably have a case with that album, And then Skull, Matt, decided he was Chuck Schuldiner and went really technical and kind of out there. And I think there was a bit of a thing. Well, I think Oliver wanted to keep it more straightforward, fresh, something like that. And then they sort of split. It all went a bit weird, didn't it? But I went through this with Ben. So then Hell Unleashed come back, you know, it's kind of band relaunching, and that album was a bit of a shredder, but it was also, comeback albums tend to be, don't they? You know, it was a bit of a palate cleanser. And I could see that just being like a slate cleaner. Like, right, we're back. This is the start of chapter 1. We're a fresh band, so let's just go all balls out, balls to the wall sort of thing, all guns blazing, to say that we're back, you know. But they're obviously expanding again. But Evile have always been a little bit different, but always kept Evile, you know. They've always sort of expanded one element of their sound. Let's try a bit more of this. Okay, we've done that. Right, come back to the centre. Now we'll try a bit of that. Come back to the centre. And I just think they've just explored another element of their sound, and they'll come back to the centre afterwards. So I see this as just a really good addition of a really good back catalogue so far. What are we on? This is album number 6, isn't it? And then they'll move on for the next album and the album after that. So I don't really get what everyone's getting themselves in a pickle over, really. So the main gripe is that is there's not really, you know, it's not a shredder. It's not thrashing, pummeling all the way through it. It's very deep emphasis on groove. They've gone very groove metal, sort of 90s Metallica, sort of Black Album era Metallica, with a good slice of Pantera groove thrown in there as well. And it's a dark album. It's a dark, brooding, emotional album as well. Oliver, since becoming a vocalist, he kind of just sort of, he was competent on the first one, on Hell Unleashed, and you could tell he was just getting his head around it. And that happens quite a lot, really, when like a musician becomes a singer. You get that, like, it took a few Annihilator albums for Jeff Waters to find himself. I mean, you could go with Genesis, the first album Phil Collins actually sung on. He's hitting all the notes, and he's approaching it like he's drumming, really. He's hitting everything. So everything's good, but he's not going for it. He's not got that emotion, you know, and that came with later albums. And yeah, there's talk of him having a vocal coach since then. He might have done, I don't know. But he has definitely come on as a singer now. I think the first one, he was just thrashing along, and he's not used to having a microphone there, and he's da 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 da, and it was quite heavy as well, so he's barking along, and he could do a bit of a death metal growl as well when he comes to it, so yeah, let's give that, you know. And it works. It was competent for that album. It was what those songs needed. But now, right, it's more melodic, it's more groove, there's a lot more slower songs, so you could take the extreme example and say like sort of Rain and Blood and South of Heaven, but for what you're lacking in speed, like fast songs, I don't know, I acknowledge the change is there, but it's good. The change has been pulled off. It's not like they've done a Morbid Angel and just gone completely 180 and gone, let's be industrial now, or I don't know, enter your, you know, Cold Lake, you know, and enter your fuck up album here, whatever one you want to reference. I don't see it like that. This does feel like a natural progression for me. And if they were going for a more palatable album in order to get more, I don't get that either, because they're not going. What do you think? Evile think they're going to be millionaires at this point? They've done it. They've toured America. They've toured with the big names. They've been the big name. There's no money in the music industry anyway. They're playing in London. I bought tickets to see them in London, and it's they're not even filling the Underworld. You know, like what? Who do they think they're kidding? If that is the case, no. At this point, they're not going to get rewarded for being Evile. They're doing it because they want to do it. Trust, there's not a lot of other reasons to do music in this day and age. Even if you are an established name like Evile, no, this is a natural songwriting progression, and it feels like it to me, at least. It feels natural. It feels organic. This evolution in their songwriting. So I just think they've evolved as songwriters. Oliver's really come along as a vocalist. There is a slight, I wouldn't say change. The grooves have always been there, but a leaning towards one element of their sound. They've focused on more song-orientated groove sounds with a bit of melody when needed. And to me, it feels natural. And above all else, it's good. This is an effortless listen for me. This is 10 effortless songs that bleed in together nicely. I'm wondering, is this a concept album as well? I haven't done a lot of research. I haven't seen any interviews. I saw one a very short interview with Al when The Unknown came out, and he said lyrically it was the scary side of fatherhood. It was the scary part of, the daunting part of coming to terms with being a dad and the responsibility that comes with it, and the daunting thing of of I've got to keep this precious little thing safe, and all the dangerous, what a dark world this is that you're bringing them into. And I think it was like a bit of a sleepless night, and when you have such lack of sleep, your mind does go into some mad places. I think sleep deprivation is a big thing when you've got a baby that is, it's often, it's not overlooked, it's just sort of part of the course, isn't it? But with that artwork, it's kind of like this is a father and a daughter, and there's the protector, and I don't know. I don't know. Is this I don't know if this is a concept album as such, but it does feel like this is one cohesive work. The songs bleed, and again, the way this album is set out, the sequencing of the songs is faultless. Like I say, this is an effortless listen. So we start off with our Unknown, which is a real dark, brooding song with a real good Ben Carter's a fantastic drummer as well, by the way, and I know some people would like to see him all over the kit like he is, but he's already proven he's a fucking fast as fuck drummer. Like, what more, You had this on the later Cannibal Corpse albums where they started focusing a bit more on slower, groovier songs, but they were heavier. And that's the thing as well, is what this might lack in speed, it doesn't lack heaviness, The Mask We Wear is another good groover. Monolith, again, big choruses, these are all well-written songs. And then we go into When Mortal Coils Shed, which I think is fantastic. Now, it speeds what you want. Check out Sleepless Eyes. And I think it's at Mirror's Speech. I'm flying off the cuff here. But I don't think they come out all blazing at the beginning, but they go really fast in the sort of middle of the song. There's plenty of freshy sections and shredding sections, especially during like the solo parts of the songs. There's still, they've not. It's not like they've just gone completely Bon Jovi on us. But yeah, Out of Sight as well has got a blazing solo. I mean, the blazing solos are all of it. But yeah, look, with songs as good as When Mortal Coils Shed, and the vocals, he's hitting these awesome notes on Beginning of the End. With songs this good, I don't really know what you want at the end of the day. Like, they've sacrificed a bit of speed, but they've made up what you get back in good songs. And good riffs, It's not as if they've forgotten about riffs, It's, I don't know. It's good. I don't know really what more to say. But what was I going to say? Yeah, right. So another thing as well is Metallica this, Metallica that. I think everyone attempts as an attempt at making the Black Album at some point in their career. The Black Album is a masterpiece of rock music. It's a classic metal album. Sorry, it just is. I know it's not Darkness Descent. I know it's not Rain in Blood, but it's a classic album. And people that don't even like metal will recognise that album. And I mean, yeah, right. I've always said, regular viewers of this channel know, like, it's a shit metal album, but it's a great rock album. whatever you think of, this isn't the Four Horsemen. You can't deny Nothing Else Matters is a fantastic written song. Don't pretend otherwise. Let me just hold that there so the camera can focus a bit. And yeah, is aiming to, is nicking from the best really a bad thing? You know, and I don't. If they're attempting the Black Album or attempting Metallica, well, I'll tell you one thing, fellas. This is better than anything Metallica have put out in 20 plus years. You can take that one to the bank. It's fucking 10 times better than that yellow piece of crap that they put out earlier this year. That, again, all the Metallica fanboys were fawning over, but I bet you £1,000,000 they've all forgotten those songs already. Let's get this camera to focus. It's annoying me. So yeah, I'm sticking up for Evile here. I'm really enjoying this album. Again, it's a wonderfully sequenced, panned out, well written, well put together, effortless listen for me. And I'm enjoying the grooves. I'm enjoying the slower songs. I'm enjoying the darker atmosphere. I'm enjoying the big choruses. The fantastic playing is still there. And yeah, I don't fret. This is just them exploring one side of their sounds. I reckon they'll re-centralise and, you know, come back to the fresh or the freshier stuff on the next album. They always seem to regroup, applying what they've picked up along the way. What hasn't worked gets dropped, and what does work they keep and then move on. And I think you'll find that's what they'll continue to do. So, yeah. Don't write them off. This album's good. Stick with it. I think you'll find this rewards repeated listens. So, yeah. And like I say, with songs like Beginning at the End, When There's Mortal Coil Shed, The Master Wear Monarch, they're all good songs. They're all good songs. So, yeah. Check it out. Don't be a knob. That's my 2 pence worth. Speak to you later.